Welcome back to Aurora Tech Channel. Today, I will review the xTool D1 Pro 20-watt laser engraver. This is the most powerful desktop diode laser engraver that I've reviewed so far. Generally, most desktop engravers come with a 5-watt or a 10-watt laser module, which are good for engraving, but may not be powerful enough for cutting thicker materials. I will test this machine out and see what kind of cutting power we can get from this 20-watt module. Besides that, the xTool D1 also has a very nice appearance. The frame is pretty different from those standard 20x20 extrusion frames. It also comes with Wi-Fi support, safety features like a frame detector that stops the machine if it catches fire, a gyroscope to stop the machine during unexpected movement or if it drops during operating, and an air assist nozzle connector that allows you to connect any air pump or an aquarium pump with the standard 3/16 of an inch tubing. It uses inductive limit switches on both the X and Y axis. And there is a lever attached to the laser module for you to adjust the focal length easily. For the motion system, instead of rubber wheels, it uses steel wheels and shafts, which should be more durable. There are 8 risers for you to raise the machine when working with taller materials or when working with a rotary roller. It also comes with its own xTool creative space, which is very easy to use. Everything looks pretty good to me. I would like to thank xTool for sending me this machine to review, and with that, let's get started. We have 4 pieces of aluminum to form the frame, the gantry, the laser module, 8 legs to raise the machine, the power supply, some tools, and some manuals. The user manual is the best laser engraver manual that I've ever seen. It includes an assembly guide, a project guide, and the instruction manual. The assembly is easy. You can just follow the manual, and there's not much you can go wrong with. It will take around 15 to 20 minutes to put it together. This is the front of the machine, and the Y-stepper motor is hidden inside the frame. One belt for the Y-axis is connected to the motor, and the second belt is connected to another timing wheel that is synchronized with the motor. The motherboard is also tiny and is hidden in the other corner at the front. I will use my laser tent and the honeycomb bed and connect it to another 4-inch ducting with a 120mm fan to exhaust the smoke outside. Okay, the machine is ready to use. I will first download the xTool software from the official website. If you want to set up Wi-Fi, you need to connect the USB cable, let the software find the machine, and then you can enter the settings menu to connect it to your home network. I will mainly use it to set up the machine to enable or disable the sensors or update the firmware. It includes all the basic features you need to do engraving and cutting, but I have gotten used to Lightburn and I really like its advanced features, so I will switch back to Lightburn and start some tests. Let's start with the simple engraving test. We will start with 10,000 millimeters per minute and engrave with different power levels, from 10% to 100%. This job will take 1 minute and 50 seconds. The result seems pretty good. It can leave some marks on the plywood at this speed, even when using 30% power. I will use the same file and speed it up to 15,000 millimeters per minute and see what kind of results that I can get. We can no longer see anything at 30% or lower power at this speed. For dithering and grayscale mode, it's a bit lighter than using 10,000 millimeters per minute. I will do it one more time at 20,000 millimeters per minute. All 3 of the different speeds can actually do some engraving, but I think using 10,000 is easy to control and the result is the best when engraving on this 3mm plywood. Next, I will try to engrave this photo. I will start with grayscale mode. The preview doesn't show anything and is just all black, but it shouldn't be an issue. This job will take 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's start it and see how it looks. As grayscale mode will trace the whole photo, the laser power is always on. For those white areas, it is just engraving at a lower power, so some high contrast photos may look nice on the grayscale, but I think we should use dithering mode for this photo. I will change it to dither, and this time you can see the photo when doing the preview. Dither mode will be a bit faster, as I can just skip the white spots and only engrave other areas. This job will take 8 minutes and 58 seconds, which is 32 seconds faster. It depends on what you engrave, but I think this photo looks much better using dither mode. Then, let's try some cutting, starting with the 3mm plywood, and see how fast we can cut it. I will start with 100mm per minute up to 500mm per minute. The job will take 3 minutes and 4 seconds. All the squares can be cut through completely. As this laser module is very powerful, cutting at 100mm per minute burned the wood too dark. So we will try using the air assist, and I will connect my 100-watt powerful aquarium pump to the laser module. The advantage of this pump is that it is cheap and powerful, but it is quite noisy along with the wind sound from the nozzle. Let's run the same job and see how much it can be improved. As you can see, all squares are cut through completely and dropped off as before. All of the edges are super clean, including the one cut at 100mm per minute. Compared to those without air assist, the difference is huge. Then, I will try to speed it up to 1000mm per minute and see what the fastest speed it can cut through this 3mm plywood is. The fastest speed that this module can cut through 3mm plywood is 800mm per minute, which is quite impressive. As for those two at 900 and 1000mm per minute, they didn't completely cut through, but they almost did. Next, I will engrave this eagle at 10,000mm per minute and cut it out at 500mm per minute. This job will take around 13 minutes. I will turn off the air pump and see how well it can do without air assist. The result is not bad. It still looks pretty good without burning the wood too dark. With the honeycomb bed, the back of the eagle looks pretty nice as well. I will now try another air pump from xTool. Surprisingly, the 17-watt air pump is quite strong. The airflow is a little weaker than my 100-watt aquarium pump, but the difference is not that big. The size of this air pump is compact and a little bit quieter, and the air tubing that comes with this pump is black, which looks nice, but I will just use the existing standard tubing as I don't want to remove it from the nozzle. They should work pretty much the same. I will engrave and cut out the same eagle again and see how this air pump works compared to the one without air assist. I think the result is obvious, and you should be able to tell that the one on the right had air assist. Take a look at the board. The edges with air assist are much cleaner, and the back of the eagle also looks better, even though the one without air assist still isn't bad. After that, I will try to cut this 1/2-inch poplar solid wood that you may have seen many times in my other engraver videos. For your reference, the best result I got was with a 10-watt laser module, which took 1 pass to almost cut through and 2 passes to cut completely through at 100 millimeters per minute. Let's see if we can cut this half-inch 12.7mm solid wood in 1 pass at 100 millimeters per minute with this 20-watt module. The result is very good. It cuts through completely with 1 single pass, and the edges are also very clean. Next, I will try the cheapest wood I could find at Home Depot, which I have used to make some shelves for my 3D printed models. This board is 3/4 of an inch, so around 19 millimeters. The mark you saw was cut by a 10-watt module, which cut deep down to almost half an inch. I will still use 100 millimeters per minute and try to cut through in 1 pass with a 20-watt laser module. It cut through completely, and this is the thickest wood I can cut with the diode laser with a single pass. The edges are also super clean, and I'm very impressed with the result. I measured the board again, and it was actually a bit thicker than 19 millimeters. I can use it to replace the miter saw that I usually need to ask my brother for help with when I need to cut a long piece into a smaller piece to fit with the laser engraver, but now I can just use the engraver as a saw. I cut this wood as I wanted to use it to make a sign. I will engrave some text and an image of a monster, cut 2 7mm holes to hang it, and finally cut it out with these zigzags to look like bite marks from a monster. I will do all engraving at 10,000 millimeters per minute and cutting at 100 millimeters per minute. As the small holes are difficult to cut, I will cut it with 2 passes and do the same with the bite marks, since I don't want to see even a tiny bit of it that didn't cut through and then have to realign it to make a second cut. The left side was cut through completely, but not the right side. As I did not align the wood perfectly, it's a bit tilted and the line just stopped here. For the 2 small holes, I needed to push them out using a screwdriver. So I will just make a straight cut to cover my mistake. I am quite happy with it, as bite marks don't have to be symmetric to each other. Overall, this sign is beautiful. When we were testing out this machine, Dr. Songam from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute invited us to engrave something as they are celebrating the university's 200-year anniversary. He sent us some drawings of 5 cubes and asked for us to engrave different numbers and letters on them. For a project like this, using the 20-watt xTool D1 Pro may be a bit overkill, but I wanted to show you guys my workflow on an actual project. I will put some letters on the cube like this. The square will not be the output, I'm just using it here for reference. Then, I will save each letter to a different file and use 2 magnets to form a square corner for better alignment. When one side is finished, I will rotate the cube and go back to the computer to start another job. As I'm going to make 2 sets, which contain 10 cubes, and each of them has 6 sides, I need to engrave 60 times and go back and forth between the computer and the laser engraver 60 times. It would be easier if you use a laptop, and even if my desktop is only about 10 feet away, I am now missing those engravers that had a simple touchscreen. After about 2.5 hours, the cubes are finished and the result looks pretty good. Finally, this machine didn't come with a rotary roller, but you can get one from xTool. They also sent this RA2 Pro roller, which can be assembled to fit different types of engraving jobs, like bottles, wine glasses, rings, and even something with a handle that can't fit on regular rollers. Just disconnect the cable from the Y-stepper motor and plug in this roller. There are 2 stepper cable extensions. I'm sure one is for rotating in a normal direction, and the other one is for rotating in the opposite direction to let it grab a mug like this. However, I don't know which is which, so I will randomly pick one. If the text or image is mirrored, I will use the other one. Let's engrave some text on this metal-coated bottle. Since I have no idea what the best parameters are, I will start with 10,000 millimeters per minute and 100% power. As the text is mirrored, it seems I have to switch to another stepper motor cable. I'm also not sure whether the speed and power is too high or too low yet, so I'm going to use the same speed but lower the power to 50%. It looks even worse, so I will try to slow it down to 5,000 millimeters per minute with 100% power. It now looks better, but I think it would be even better if I slowed it down further to 3,000 millimeters per minute with 100% power. Okay, this is the best result I have gotten so far, and it at least looks much better than the other three. Okay, after doing quite a lot of tests with this machine for a week, let's talk about the pros and cons, starting with the pros. 1. The 20-watt laser module is powerful. It can cut 3/4 inch or 19mm wood in just a single pass, which is really impressive. 2. It's a premium machine with the rigid frame, clean cable management, and excellent documentation. It is overall a very high-quality build. 3. The maximum engraving speed of this machine can go up to 24,000 millimeters per minute. You may not use the maximum speed in a real project, as it could create some extra vibrations at this high speed unless you secure the machine on a bench, and may not be able to deliver the best results that you want, but it is still nice to be capable to run at this high speed. 4. The steel wheels and steel rails motion system is much better than the rubber wheels and extrusion slots you see on most other laser engravers. They should last much longer and can also run faster. 5. Inductive limit switches are installed on both the X and Y axis and in all 4 directions. They are more accurate and more durable than mechanical limit switches. 6. The belt tensioners are convenient. You don't have to pull the belt and tighten some screws at the same time like you have to do on many other machines. 7. The lever for focal length adjustment is handy. You don't need to keep a 2mm acrylic plate or metal cylinder around to adjust it. There is a second thumb screw on the other side of the laser module that allows you to lower the nozzle instead of the entire module to cut deeper for thicker materials. 8. The air assist connector works with any air pump with a standard 3/16" air tube, but you still need to purchase an aquarium pump or buy a better quality air pump from xTool separately. 9. It comes with 8 legs to allow you to raise the machine to 2 different levels, which works with engraving thicker materials or when using a rotary roller. However, you may still need some extra blocks to raise it even higher if you work with something like I did when engraving the metal water bottle on the rotary roller. 10. The xTool software that comes with the machine is easy to use. It is not as powerful as Lightburn, which costs you $60, but it has more features than the free laser Gerbil and should be good enough for most projects. Now for the cons. 1. There is no cover or case for the motherboard. The laser module may bump into the front frame when the machine is off, and you need to move it around. It would be better to add some soft rubber bumper on the edge or on the laser module to have better protection. 2. The 20-watt laser module is powerful, but there are 2 trade-offs. First of all, it's large, and you will lose some working area. I don't have their 10-watt or 5-watt module to compare, but I guess it would be something around 8 to 12 millimeters on each axis. Second, as this 20-watt laser is combined with 4 5-watt laser dots, it has a slightly larger dot compared to a 5 or a 10-watt module, but I can't see any difference unless you inspect it under a microscope. 3. The frame sensor is a bit too sensitive, even on low settings. I have to turn it off for some of my cutting jobs. 5. For some features like setting up the Wi-Fi, adjusting the sensors, or even starting a job, you need to use their own software on a computer. As this machine does not come with a screen, I suggest adding a web interface or a mobile app to allow users to start the job that are saved on the microSD card, which would be better. For example, when I was working on the cubes, I had to walk back and forth between the machine and my computer many times. It would be more convenient if I can just save some G-code files on the SD card and start it directly from the machine. In conclusion, this is a high-quality premium laser engraver. The hardware is way better than a standard laser engraver. It has the most powerful 20-watt laser module and a very nice appearance. In terms of quality, it is definitely one of the best, if not the best, in the market. The only other machine that comes close is the Aurora Laser Master 3. It's a high-quality machine, but Aurora doesn't have a 20-watt module yet. The Atom Stack X20 Pro also has a 20-watt module, but the build quality and the hardware are not at the same level as the xTool D1 Pro. I think everyone loves this xTool D1 Pro, but the only thing that may hold you back is the price, as the 20-watt version costs $1,200. But if you don't need that super powerful laser module for cutting thick wood in a single pass, the 10-watt version, which costs just $700, would also be very nice. The 5-watt version costs another $100 less, which is $600. The 20-watt version is the best, but it's $500 more than the 10-watt. For $500, you can buy an entry-level laser engraver and a basic 3D printer. So personally, I think the 10-watt may be the best deal, as you get the exact same machine, except the laser module has a slightly lower power. A 10-watt module is still pretty good for cutting if you just cut something that is around 10 millimeters. For the 5-watt version, unless you are mainly doing engraving, I would not choose it as it's just $100 cheaper, and it is not worth having a 5-watt module on such a premium machine. Of course, if the extra few $100s is not that big of a deal to you, the 20-watt version is still the best. I put the link to the xTool D1 Pro under the description. That's it for this video. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to receive new video updates. I will see you next time.